Ethan had forgotten what it felt like to be excited about someone. For years, his life had followed the same quiet routine. Wake up early, prepare breakfast for his daughter MIA, drop her at school, rush to work, finish endless meetings, and come home just in time to hear about her day. His world was small, but it was full. After losing his wife, Ethan had promised himself that he would give MIA everything she needed. Love, attention, security, everything except a broken family. People around him often told him he was too young to spend the rest of his life alone. "Ethan, you deserve happiness too," his friends would say. But Ethan would always give the same answer. "My daughter is my happiness." And he truly believed it. He wasn't angry at love. He wasn't against relationships. He simply felt like that chapter of his life had already ended. His heart had once belonged to someone, and after losing her, he didn't think he could ever open that door again. Then one ordinary rainy evening changed everything. Ethan had stayed late at the office because of an important project. The building was almost empty, and the sound of rain hitting the glass windows filled the quiet lobby. He checked his watch and sighed. "MIA is probably already waiting for my bedtime story," he whispered to himself. He quickly grabbed his coat and walked toward the elevator. Just as the elevator doors were about to close, he heard someone running. "Wait. Please wait." Ethan looked up. A girl was rushing across the lobby, trying not to slip on the wet floor. She was holding a stack of papers in one hand and her phone in the other. Her hair was slightly messy from the rain, and she looked like she had been fighting against the entire world just to catch that elevator. Without thinking, Ethan reached out and pressed the button. The doors opened again. The girl stepped inside, breathing heavily. "Oh my God, thank you," she said with a small laugh. "I thought I was going to have to climb the stairs all the way up." Ethan smiled slightly. "It's only 5 floors. She looked at him seriously. "Exactly. 5 floors when you're already exhausted feels like 50. For the first time that day, Ethan laughed. It surprised him. He couldn't remember the last time a stranger had made him laugh so easily. The girl noticed his smile and smiled back. "I'm Lily, by the way." "Ethan." "Nice to meet you, Ethan." The elevator ride lasted less than a minute, but somehow Ethan felt like it lasted longer. There was something different about Lily. She wasn't trying too hard to impress anyone. She was just herself. When the elevator reached her floor, she stepped out. "Thanks again for saving me from those stairs," she said. Ethan nodded. "You're welcome." The doors closed. And that should have been the end of it. But it wasn't. The next morning, Ethan saw Lily again. She was standing near the coffee machine in the office building, looking frustrated because the machine had stopped working. "Are you arguing with a coffee machine?" Ethan asked. Lily turned around and smiled. "Yes. And I'm losing." Ethan shook his head. "It's a machine." "Exactly. It should know better than to challenge me before my first coffee." Again, Ethan laughed. It was strange. He barely spoke to anyone at work unless it was necessary. But with Lily, conversations felt easy. Over the next few weeks, they kept running into each other. Sometimes near the elevator, sometimes in the lobby, sometimes during lunch breaks. At first, Ethan told himself it was nothing. She was just a friendly person. They were just talking. It didn't mean anything. But then one afternoon, Lily met MIA. Ethan had to bring his daughter to the office for a short time because his babysitter had an emergency. He expected MIA to sit quietly with him until he finished his work. Instead, she noticed Lily. "Who's she?" MIA asked. Ethan looked over. "That's Lily. She works here." MIA looked at Lily and smiled. "Do you like cartoons?" Lily laughed. "I think that's the most important question anyone has ever asked me." Within minutes, MIA and Lily were talking like they had known each other for years. Ethan watched from a distance. And something inside him changed. He had seen many people be polite to children, but Lily wasn't pretending. She genuinely enjoyed spending time with MIA. That night, after putting MIA to bed, Ethan sat alone in the living room. He thought about Lily's smile. He thought about how peaceful he felt around her. And that scared him. Because for the first time in years, someone had made him feel something he thought was impossible. Hope. But Ethan was afraid. He knew what it felt like to love someone and lose them. He knew the pain of building a life around a person and then watching that life disappear. Opening his heart again felt like walking toward a storm. The next day, he tried to keep his distance from Lily. He answered her messages slowly. He avoided long conversations. He convinced himself he was doing the right thing. But Lily noticed. One evening, she stopped him near the elevator. Did I do something wrong? Ethan looked surprised. No. Why? Because you suddenly disappeared. He looked away. I'm just busy. Lily smiled softly. You know, Ethan, sometimes people say they are busy when they are actually afraid. Her words hit him harder than he expected. He didn't answer. The elevator doors opened. They both stepped inside. And for the first time since meeting her, Ethan realized the biggest battle wasn't about finding love. It was about allowing himself to feel it again. I can extend part 2 to around 1,000 words as well. Ethan stood silently inside the elevator, looking at the numbers above the door as they slowly changed. Lily's words kept repeating in his mind. Sometimes people say they are busy when they are actually afraid. She was right. For years, Ethan had convinced himself that being alone was a choice. He told everyone he was happy, and maybe part of him was. His daughter MIA had filled his life with love and purpose. But deep inside, there was a part of him that missed having someone to share his thoughts with, someone who would ask about his day, someone who would understand the quiet moments. And now Lily had appeared in his life unexpectedly. She wasn't trying to fix him. She wasn't trying to replace his past. She was simply there. And somehow, that was enough to make him feel alive again. The elevator doors opened, and Lily stepped out. Before she walked away, she looked back at him. Good night, Ethan. Good night, Lily. But this time, Ethan didn't want the moment to end. The next morning, Ethan made a decision. Instead of running away from his feelings, he would try to understand them. He walked into the office and saw Lily sitting at her desk, working quietly. For a few seconds, he just stood there, watching her laugh at something on her computer. Then she noticed him. Ethan. He smiled. Coffee. Lily raised an eyebrow. Are you asking me to get coffee with you? Yes. She looked surprised. Wow. I didn't know the serious elevator man knew how to ask someone for coffee. Ethan laughed. Neither did I. That small joke changed everything. Slowly, they started spending more time together. They talked during lunch breaks, walked together after work, and shared stories about their lives. Lily learned about Ethan's past, about the woman he had lost, and about the promise he made to always protect MIA. Instead of feeling uncomfortable, Lily respected him more. You're a good father, she told him one evening. Ethan looked at her. How do you know? Because every time you talk about MIA, your entire face changes. You don't just love her. You're proud of her. Those words stayed with him. Nobody had noticed that before. Weeks passed, and Lily became a beautiful part of their lives. MIA loved having her around. Whenever Ethan came home, MIA would ask, "Is Lily coming today?" And every time Ethan heard her say that, he felt a warmth in his heart. But happiness also brought fear. One night, Ethan sat with Lily on a quiet bench outside the building. I need to tell you something, he said. Lily looked at him. I'm scared. She stayed silent and let him continue. I spent so many years protecting myself. I thought if I never loved anyone again, I could never lose anyone again. Lily looked down. And now? Ethan took a deep breath. Now I realize that avoiding pain also means avoiding happiness. Lily smiled softly. That's a big thing to admit. I know. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Lily reached for his hand. You don't have to forget your past to have a future, Ethan. Those words broke down the walls he had built for years. For the first time, he allowed himself to believe that maybe love could come twice in a lifetime. But life had one more challenge waiting. A few days later, Lily received an opportunity to move to another city for her dream job. It was everything she had worked for. But it meant leaving Ethan and MIA behind. When she told him, Ethan tried to smile. That's amazing, Lily. You should take it. She looked at him carefully. Are you sure? Ethan nodded. I don't want you to give up your dreams for me. Inside, his heart was breaking. He wanted to ask her to stay. He wanted to tell her that he needed her. But he also loved her enough to let her choose her own happiness. The day before Lily was supposed to leave, MIA came to Ethan with tears in her eyes. Is Lily going away? Ethan sat beside her. She has a chance to do something important. But will she come back? Ethan didn't know what to say. MIA looked down. I don't want people I love to leave. Ethan hugged his daughter. That night, he realized something. He had spent years protecting MIA from losing people, but he forgot to teach her that love also means being brave. The next morning, Ethan went to the airport. He found Lily near the entrance, holding her bag. When she saw him, she looked surprised. Ethan? What are you doing here? He smiled. Something I should have done a long time ago. What? Fighting for something that matters. Lily's eyes filled with emotion. I thought you wanted me to go. I want you to follow your dream, he said. But I also want you to know that there is someone here waiting for you. She looked at him. Ethan. I spent years thinking my heart was closed forever. Then you ran into an elevator, and somehow you opened a door I thought was locked. Lily smiled through her tears. You really remember that? I remember everything about that day. She stepped closer. And what happens now? Ethan smiled. Now we stop being afraid. Months later, Lily returned. The same elevator where they first met became the place where Ethan finally told her what he had been feeling all along. And this time, when the doors opened, he wasn't letting her walk away. Because sometimes the person who changes your life doesn't enter with a grand plan. Sometimes they are simply a stranger running through the rain, asking you to hold the elevator.